I had usually on my YouTube channel, or actually what I usually do is on the community tab, I will post up a poll of what videos will be coming the next day, let y'all vote for, and then see what y'all are really excited to see. And one of the options was the Triple P. Of course, by now you already know who it was on because the video's already been up for a couple days, and it was of cubic zirconia and polyester getting cut from Fox News. But one of my subscribers had asked me on that same day when I made the poll, they said, Torian, is the PPP going to be on Okra because they are dragging her right now on Twitter and she's like trending #1? And I'm like, no, as this was all new to me, so I don't know what was going on. But you know, anything to talk about the Mammy Supreme, I'm gonna go and check it out. So I went over to the Explore page and I looked there, and sure enough, she was #1 trending. So I said, okay, let me click on this and see what's going on. I look it up. The first thing that pops up is saying something about some kind of summit or whatever. I was like, okay, whatever. I scrolled down some more, and people were saying, now I can see where people were coming from when they say Okra was this problematic individual. But it was in response to another tweet. So what I do is I click on the tweet and I scroll up and I look at the thread, and I came across this clip here. Now, the clip, what you see, this is a thumbnail right here. It says from 1996. We all know who this is in the picture. This is none other than Dennis Rodman. And he was trending the last couple of days because of the Michael Jordan documentary that was airing. Now, I haven't watched the documentary, but I'm guessing he had a segment in there because he was trending. Carmen Electra was trending. And if you know from back in that time, Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra were dating at one point. So what I decided to do was I said, okay, let me go ahead and look at this clip. And the clip was 2 minutes long. I'm going to play the audio for you. And let me tell you, by the time you get to the end, or maybe not even the end of this clip, you're going to be making the same exact face that Dennis Rodman is in this picture, because it's the same exact face I was making as I was listening and watching. And this is going to solidify why now I can definitely consider not only that Okra is the Mammy Supreme, but she's also a witch. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip for you. It's about 2 minutes and 19 seconds long.
Okay, so that don't mean that I'm gay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's the next question coming up here.
No, I'm not gay.
You're not gay?
No.
Now, you did say earlier that when you were a little boy, we're looking at that little picture of your little ear spread on there, that you were worried about your own sense of sexuality, growing up in a house with all females.
I think that's a true statement on my part, because, you know, I was very scared to be around guys and boys, little boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how I would fit in because I was so shy and to myself. So.
But you are not gay. You're saying to me you are not gay.
No,
and if you were gay, I believe you would tell me.
I think so.
I think so. So, are you bisexual?
No.
You're not bisexual?
No.
You do say well, you don't have to applaud or not applaud. Okay, you do say in this book, you say that maybe in your mind you are.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
I can float with the idea.
You can float with the idea.
I can float with it, however you want to look at it. I can do anything I want. Up here. It don't mean I'm going to go out and act and do it. I think a lot of people can say to you, a lot of people say, well, I can never be with a man. You know, a lot of guys will say, I can never be with a man.
Yeah.
How can you say you thought about it? For you to say,
you think all men have thought about it?
Of course. Of course. I mean, if you sit up there, if I ask one of these guys here, would you like to be with a man? No, that's just disgusting. That's just disgusting. How do you know it's disgusting? How do you know it's disgusting? You don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying to go out there and try it, but I'm just saying that you don't know.
Okay, so Dennis, I mean, the obvious question is, and I have to ask it because you just laid the door open. So have you been with a man?
No.
You have not been with a man?
No.
You wrote all of this, you flirted with it, you think about it, you think you might be in your mind, and yet you say, too, that men and women are offering themselves to you all the time.
Yeah.
He says that. When I tell you, bow, honey, bow.
Yeah.
Men and women are offering themselves to you all the time, and yet you still haven't.
No, I haven't. You know, I can't lie to say I haven't kissed a man on the lips.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look, you go back, and if you have a son, a little boy, how many times you kiss him on the lips when he's a little kid?
I'm not talking about that.
I'm just saying.
I'm not talking about no little son and kissing him on the lips. I'm talking about big old grown Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all just heard that right there. If y'all remember, if y'all follow me on Twitter, I put a tweet up and said that if any woman went out of her way to emasculate a man or try to, especially on a public platform like Oprah's, the Mammy Supreme, she is a witch in my eyes. Did you hear that? Did you hear that exchange? She kept trying to put something onto Dennis Rodman that he knew not to be true. Because this is all coming from a book that he wrote and everything like that. And we should have been well aware of how Oprah got down even before her recent antics. Because I remember she did an interview with Toni Braxton back in the day, probably around the same time as this one. And they tried to play it off like Toni Braxton was ungrateful for being there, because this is right around the time when Toni Braxton was going through that first bankruptcy situation, and then that's when she interviewed her, and then Oprah had the nerve to talk down to her and saying, how can you be so irresponsible with your money and all types of stuff, and Toni was trying to explain to her what was really going on, but Oprah wasn't trying to hear it. That's just who she is. That is who she is. And the only reason why she really hasn't been brought all the way down a few pegs is because of her billionaire status. And they need to hold her into that position for as long as they possibly can until they're ready to do away with her. They're not done with her yet. And that's the scary part, because we don't know when they'll be done with her. But trust and believe, when they are, curtains. Pretty much for the most part, many people in the black community have already completely shunned her. Especially after this Michael Jackson situation. This woman is no good. She sat up there with this man and tried to pressure him into saying that he's something that he knows that he's not. She tried to emasculate this man on national television. And you see how she kept asking and going and going and going and going. She did not stop. The minute that she opened up her mouth, she did not stop. She would not do this with Harvey Weinstein. We know she wouldn't do it with David Geffen. Well, we already know what team he plays for, so she wouldn't ask him. Or Woody Allen or any of those other palm-colored males that she has been known to engage with. But she always does it with black men. And her specialty is doing it with heterosexual black men. Because she will not do it with Lee Daniels. And it's a bit of a question mark under Tyler Perry, but she wouldn't do it with him. Listen, for those who were the late bloomers, many of y'all had to find out how Oprah was with the whole Monique situation, and many of you didn't catch it then, but now you're finally getting it and realizing that Monique was right the entire time, but they had to make her look like she was like how she claimed Toni Braxton to be, ungrateful. But now people really are seeing the huge error in her ways and how flawed this woman is. She is a fraud. She's a fraudstress. This is what they pay her to do. And she does it well. She is the prized puppet with platinum strings attached. And she's proud of being that puppet. This is why I call her the Mammy Supreme. Because she has literally given birth to all these other little witches that are scattered around here on a more bigger scale. So you know how I was talking about that coven of witches that has Charlize Theron, Gabrielle Union, and who was the other one? It was another one that I mentioned, palm colored chick. Can't remember her name at the moment. Okra is the head witch over there. They all bow down to her. They all answer to her. And once they do their little bidding, she sends them out to do some more damage. Because nobody says no to Lady O, right? Let them tell it. But yeah, this right here, like I said, just proves to you what type of person she is and what she's always been. A lot of black men have been trying to tell black women for years what type of woman she is. Even some black women will turn up to other black women. You know, you knew what could have been a telltale sign of how she was. Look at who her audience was. Look at who she really catered to the most. Furthermore, look at who she gave shows to. Look at who she gave shows to. Nate Burkes, white guy. Dr. Phil, white guy. Dr. Oz, white guy. Susie Orman, white woman. Rachel Ray, white woman. Are you seeing the pattern here? Not one black face in the mix. Not one. Not even a black woman. So much for that sisterhood. I keep telling y'all about that. The woman is wicked. She probably has a broom in her closet somewhere and a cauldron in her basement. And she's probably cooking up some spells right now as we speak. But like I said, and I'm going to stand firmly on this, any woman that goes out of her way to emasculate a man, especially in public, is a witch in my eyes. And it doesn't matter what her background is. It doesn't matter who she works for or who she answers to, how old she may be. She can be young as a teenager to as old as a AARP card carrying member. The men are out here supposed to be one particular way. The women are supposed to be another. And you have people like her who are trying to turn all of that around. All you got to do is look at, like I said, look at the people she associates with, and that lets you know right there what she's into, what she probably engages with. Shoot, she practically has emasculated Stedman. Remember, he can't stay in the main house. He got to go in the guest house. He may have the woo-woo, and I got pneumonia. That's what she said. But he's going to continue to do it because he's still getting paid. His time with her isn't done yet. And hasn't been done for the last 30 plus years. I'm sick of her. But I'm more glad that people know who she is now. It's about time. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I'll talk to you in the next one.